Hacking! Welcome to Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 1 of Mr. Robot. I went into this show with a certain degree of hesitation because, as some of you may know, my biggest pet peeve with a lot of TV shows is how technology is sometimes handled. I don't really mind things not being completely realistic, but for example, in most cop shows, everything kind of borders between somewhat realistic and super convenient for the plot, and that's kind of okay. But the technology stuff is complete science fiction. Examples for this would be 24 and Criminal Minds. Well, maybe not 24, because in 24 Jack Bauer is basically an indestructible god. But you get what I mean. Mr. Robot was presented to me and recommended to me as a show about hacking. So I was worried. The show tells the story of Elliot, a guy who on the one hand suffers from pretty severe social problems. He has a very hard time interacting with people, but on the other hand is very good at reading people and assessing situations. And he is also a very proficient hacker. I don't want to talk about the story too much because this is one of those shows where the best way to enjoy it is to go into it knowing as little as possible about the story itself. But I wouldn't say that this is a show about hacking. It's a show about Elliot and his life and his struggles and the story that kind of forms around him. The hacking aspect of the show is cool and works very well, but it's a plot device, a damn good one, but it's not what makes the show. And I think that's a very good thing, because if the hacking theme was the only thing driving the show, it would have been a boring gimmick and not much more. But Mr. Robot is a very strong, character-driven psychological thriller with a technology theme on top of it. The story itself in the show I thought was incredible. I felt that every interaction mattered, and they did a fantastic job with presenting you with something that you might not understand straight away, and then sort of revealing pieces around it until you figure it out yourself. The storytelling style and generally the way the show looks was very special. They shot the dialogues in these unconventional angles that gave the show its own unique style. After watching this show, you could watch a scene and recognize the Mr. Robot style, and there are not a lot of shows you can say that for. There is non-stop traffic outside. I'm sorry, we're just gonna have to power through it. A characteristic of strong dramas, for me at least, is do they make you think? Do you find yourself thinking about something because you just watched an episode of this show? This is something that Mr. Robot definitely does. It will get you thinking, and it will most likely get you to change your passwords. As for the actual technology theme, the hacking stuff I thought was generally fine. I don't think that they did or said anything that will make those of us who live in the IT world cringe. Oh my god! Can't believe there's traffic outside and people going about their day when I'm trying to make a video. I'm actually a big fan of the approach that they took with hacking. They're not trying to prove to you that they know their stuff by using the correct technology buzzwords. They're not trying to impress you. They present you with a given in the story. These characters are very good at hacking. We can cut straight to a scene where Elliot has already hacked this other guy's email and bank accounts because it has already been established that Elliot is incredible at hacking. It's something we already know. It's his superpower. Inevitably, here and there, they have to talk about hacking and explain their process or stuff like that, and that I thought was generally fine and fitted very well into the dialogue and the story. What I didn't like as much was the way that they applied the technology theme to everything else. The story in Mr. Robot is largely told from Elliot's perspective, and to kind of show us how his mind works and how he thinks, he's always comparing things from everyday life to programming concepts or other technology concepts. And that was fine. That was actually, I thought, was a very cool way to give us insight into a character. But it gets to a point where it gets a bit too much or a bit too on the nose. For example, there's one point where they're saying that money is the operating system of the world, and that was kind of, alright. I mean, we get it. Everything is technology, everything has to be a reference to technology. You can continue talking like regular human beings now. Please resume the dialogue. Bottom line, should you watch it? I think that Mr. Robot is an important show to watch. It has a very unique style, a fantastically twisted story, an incredible performance from Rami Malek as Elliot, and it will most likely get you thinking about some things which is a huge thing for a show to do. The things that bothered me about the show were minor and really did not distract me from how good everything else was, because this is a very, very good show. So yes, generally yes is what I'm saying. You should watch it, is the point I'm getting at. But all of that is just my opinion. I know that Mr. Robot has been out for a while and a lot of you have already watched it. What do you think about it? Did it get you thinking about some things, or did you think it was just an anti-capitalist fantasy kind of thing? That is a true and actual accusation that I heard made about this show. What do you think about that? And also, what are some of the best and worst representations of technology that you've seen in other shows? I'll give you an example for one of mine, Alec Hardison in Leverage. I know that Leverage is not a realistic show to begin with, but it was just too much for me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. And if you're finding Binge Watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the Binge Watchers community, where we're talking about TV every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with reviews, discussions, all kinds of great things, all for you fellow binge watchers and TV lovers. You can click on that big subscribe button, join in on the fun, or you can check out any of the other videos on the channel. If you want to talk about anything else, you can check out my vlogging channel, but in any case, keep binging, and I will see you next time.